I have now worked as many rows as the pattern says that I should be splitting for sleeves, and because every one of us is different, maybe the pattern instructions don't fit your body as well, so it's very recommended that you check how this sits on you before you separate for sleeves. Mind you that the neckband will be added in a later glue, and there will be more length to the yoke before, but you should see that it should sit quite far off the neck on your shoulders, and take that into account. But if you do need to add more rows for a deeper yoke than what is stated in the pattern, feel free to continue following the same chart for as many rows as you need to, because now all increases are completed, so there shouldn't be any more stitches added, just the length. But when you're ready, all of us will do the same steps. And it's helpful to find a few locking stitch markers. Where have I got one? Like this one, and place them in 4 spots around the yoke where you will be doing the sleeve split. So after the first one, we'll be putting another one later on. These will be for the sleeve stitches. Then the next section will make the front of the sweater, and then another sleeve, and finally from here to the beginning of round we'll make the rest of the back of the sweater. And I don't know how you count, but I count in 5, so if it says 48 stitches, I know that 5 times 8 is 40, and then I need to do another 8 stitches, or 9 times 5 is 45, etc. Whatever's easier. So I count in 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. all the way to 8. Now I'll get my 40 stitches and I count the individual 8 stitches. That's where I will place my marker. And it makes it a little bit faster to count, but it's a bit more error prone because you also have to do some arithmetic in your head to make sure you don't count too many multiples of 5s or too little. So if you read the next instruction in the pattern, that is the next round, after each section it does tell you which chart repeat stitch, and that's one of these 36 stitches that section should be ending with. So if yours says ending with stitch number 18, like it did for me, where did it go? Here, my first I'm working on size 2, and it says that the first section is the half of the back here, should end with stitch number 18 of the chart repeat. And I can easily count from my little pattern repeat or chart repeat markers here to where I place the locking marker, whether I have 18 stitches, to verify that I've counted that right. And you have one in that instruction for after every section for verification purposes. And once you've placed them, then you just get to work in this established pattern to the first locking marker. Please ignore these little pattern chart repeat markers again. They do not matter here. We are working to the first locking marker, and that's when I'll show you how we can put these sleeve stitches on hold and how we cast on the required underarm stitches. And you'll repeat then that twice for both sides of the sweater, and then join back in the round and continue body in the round. Now that I've worked to my first locking stitch marker, I can remove it, as the where you are placing the stitch markers is it that you're to remove them in the next round, because they have now served their purpose. They stopped us in our tracks so we don't knit too far. And the next step is to place the sleeve stitches from this place to the next locking stitch marker on hold. You can use stitch holders. I typically just use some yarn, leftover yarn, and using a tapestry needle transfer the stitches from the knitting needle onto that waste yarn, because it never gets in the way of me working. It's very noticeable that it's there. I'm also transferring my chart repeat markers along with the stitches here, because the sleeve might or might not continue the chart as well. So it'll be useful to know that a new pattern repeat is beginning there, in case the sleeve does have the patterning, but we'll know that in a later clue. I had transferred the yoke stitches onto 2 sets of needles so that I could try the yoke on before separating. My cable of the needle that what I was using was too short to fit over my body. I was restricted to the cables that I had at home with these wooden needles because I was traveling and I couldn't take my metallic ones with me to risk being taken away at the airport. But I love these little wooden needles too. It's just that the cable was too short to try, but that's okay. We had another set of needles that I could use. And here I've come to the other side, to the other walking stitch marker, which I can now remove. I will also no longer need the tapestry needle. I'll make a quick knot here just to secure these stitches, these sleeve stitches. And next step, I will need to place a marker here. Again, a different one from all the other markers. It's not the beginning of round, it's not my pattern repeat starting markers. And I need to cast on some number of stitches that are indicated in the pattern. And because we have 2 strands of yarn available for us as we're working color work, we can use the long tail cast on when we're holding the main color over our index finger and the contrast color on our thumb. So I'll just twist them here so I don't get a hole, and work the long tail method this way so we get the main color. The stitches are in the main color, but the base is in the contrast color. And let me just get my 34 stitches that I need. Here we go. I've got my 34 stitches and I continue. I join with the front of the sweater and continue working the chart. But it should be the chart row that was next in the chart before separating the sleeves. So I don't remember, I think for me it's chart row 11 of clue 3. But so yes, we have now placed these stitches on hold. They will be picked up along here when we do the sleeve. And when we get to the next locking marker, which is somewhere here, we'll be putting the second sleeve on hold in exactly the same way. I'll do that on my own time and I'll come back to you once I've gotten to this point in the next round, because we're gonna have to move this marker and place it and work following the chart, because the color work will continue, and place it in the middle of the underarm, and that's where the side will be. That's where we'll have a break in the pattern because there is not enough space to fit the complete chart repeats. So there will be a little fake seam using purl stitches that will provide that break in the pattern.